Yo guys, what's going on? It's Speddey. In today's video, we're going to go over some of the best PvP weapon combos. In the last video, I went over some of the best PvE weapon combos, so if you're more into PvE, go and check out that video. You'll see it at the top of the screen now. This isn't an in-depth guide, I'm just going over the 3 main abilities you should be using within your weapons mastery tree. Don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for all things New World. So the first combo I'd like to talk about is the Rapier and Ice Gauntlet, and this build is slept on so much as both weapons are a really good combo for PvP. Both weapons scale with intelligence, so that makes your attribute distribution even easier to only have one main attribute to focus on, this being intelligence. So put 3 points into intelligence and 1 point into constitution for every 4 points you can spend. Once you've started your Rapier mastery, the 3 main abilities you want are Evade, Fleesh and Tondo. Evade for the extra dodge every 6 seconds, giving you the extra bit of mobility and for the animation cancel when you're using an ability. Fleesh for that gap closing ability, and due to it being an AoE, so you'll hit anyone in your way, dealing 145% weapon damage. Also again for the extra bit of mobility if you're fleeing. And finally Tondo for the extra bit of added range onto your rapier and for the bleeds that come with the attack. And for the Ice Gauntlet, we'll be using Ice Storm for the range attack it gives and his slow buff when the enemies are in the radius of the storm. Alongside that, we'll have Ice Shower, which again will slow the enemy down and stop them from dodging and running away. And lastly, we will have Entombed, which is basically an ice block. When once inside, you can't take damage and you have a quicker mana regen, but the ice block can be destroyed. And also a nice little extra tip with the Ice Gauntlet, you can get a perk on equipment called Iced Refresh, which can reduce all cooldowns once you've killed an enemy by 20 to 75%, which is a huge advantage. This combo works really well together as you have your magical ranged weapon with the Ice Gauntlet and your quick hitting melee weapon with the Rapier, both giving you some really nice DPS alongside each other. But of course, if you'd prefer using the Rapier with the Fire Staff, you can use that, as that also scales primarily with intelligence. And your next combo is one of the best strength builds in my opinion, and that is the Hatchet and the Great Axe. Again, both of these scale with strength, so you can go full strength with some points in constitution. For this, put 3 points into strength with 1 going into constitution for every 4 points you get. So for the first attribute with the hatchet, of course it is Berserk. This will increase all attack damage by 20% for 15 seconds. Pairing this along with Feral Rush, which is a really nice leaping attack for some extra damage as well. And lastly, you'll be wanting to choose Rending Throw, which is basically an axe throw that reduces your target's damage absorption. So if you hit that shot with your throwing axe, you can do some amazing damage if you combo this with Berserk. So alongside the hatchet, you will have the Great Axe, which is a really good heavy hitting melee weapon in PvP, and the ability combos you can use paired with each other are really good. So the first ability you want to choose is Gravity Well, and this is a good AoE, so it hits everyone that can be hit within the radius of your throw. Alongside that, we will have Reap, which pulls the enemy close to you, dealing 110% weapon damage, which is also good against enemies that are trying to run away. And lastly, we'll take Charge, which is a good gap closer and also a good evading ability if you're trying to run away from a team. This Hatchet and Great Axe weapon combo is probably the best melee build in terms of high DPS output. It's also very enjoyable to use. And the last weapon combo I'd like to talk about is the Bow and Spear. And again, both of these weapons scale with dexterity, so put 3 points into dexterity and 1 point into constitution for every 4 points you have to spend. So firstly, with the bow, the first attribute we'll pick is Evade Shot, and this ability can also be used as another dodge, which is really useful and can knock back your opponent when you spend another weapon mastery point in that tree. Alongside this, we'll also take Poison Shot, which is a really good AoE which poisons enemies within the poisonous cloud for 10% of your weapon damage per second for 20 seconds. So that's a huge damage over time ability. And lastly, we'll go with Rapid Shot, where you shoot 3 arrows one after another, dealing some more heavy damage if you manage to hit all 3 of those shots, and the last shot also causing a knockback as well. So paired nicely with the bow is the Spear, which is another fun weapon for PvP. The first ability we'll take for the Spear is Sweep, which is an AoE which knocks down anyone next to you within melee distance, dealing 75% weapon damage to them, which is a really useful ability. Then we'll also take Volt Kick, which is a small gap closer, which also stuns your opponent if you manage to hit your shot. Even the animation for this is really cool. And lastly, we'll take Javelin, which is where you'll throw your spear, and if you manage to hit your target, you'll stagger them and deal 125% weapon damage, so you can do some really good ability combos with the spear. Even better if you take Merciless Strength on the Zona Spear tree, which deals 25% weapon damage to knock down targets, as you will have knockdown abilities active to deal some extra DPS, making this build extremely viable and enjoyable to use in PvP. So there's 3 of the best weapon combos for PvP. If you think I've missed a combo, then let me know in the comments down below. If you'd like to see more New World content, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also join my community Discord, which is linked in the description down below. And if you're in EU and are going to be with Syndicate at launch, then join my new company, the Spuds. That'll also be linked down below. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have an amazing day.